Number 2, page 271. Jake paid $13.50 for admission to the county fair, bought 9 tickets to play games, spent a total of $36. What's the cost C of 1 ticket? Write and solve an equation. So one option, we have 9 tickets. C is the cost of 1 ticket, so we have 9 times C would be the total cost for the tickets plus the $13.50 admission equals a total of $36. This would be one way to write this. It does say write and solve, so we would be solving the equation. So if we did it that way, in order to solve this, they're adding, so we need to subtract $13.50. If we were doing this by hand, make sure you line up your decimal points. So that should be $22.50. And then we would need to... So they're multiplying by 9, then we could divide by 9 on both sides. And $22.50 divided by 9 should...
2.50.
Okay, 2.5, which is $2.50 per ticket. Good. Okay. A couple other options here. One option is, since we're adding, when we do that equation, if you had that switched around, you could have $13.50 plus 9C equals 36. Another option, you could have 36 minus 1350. Let's get that answer and then divide by 9 equals C. That would be another way to figure that out. It does say to write and solve an equation, though, so we have to have something with an equal sign. Okay, so if we look at number 3, we're trying to find equations that are equal to this.
I got 0.40 plus 0.30x equals 10.40.
Okay, so if we distribute this, basically one way you could change the half to 0.5. Another way, just think about half of these numbers. If we took half of 4 would be
2.
half of 8x.
4.
Okay, so does that look like anything?
Yes. The first one.
Okay, it looks like the first one, except for they have an 8.5 instead of a 17. So that's actually not going to work out for us. If we were solving this, what would be the next step that we would do? There's adding 2, so we could subtract 2 here. So 17 minus 2 would be 15. And if you'll notice, we've got now the same as that third option or the second option, depending which way you look at it. The top right option. That matches up. Okay. There actually is another option here that works, which is a little bit harder to detect. But basically, if we take half of that 4 plus 8x and we get 17, if we doubled that side, instead of half of it, we'd have all of that 4 plus 8x. If we doubled the other side, if we double 17, you get 34. And so a little bit tricky to detect maybe, but this option here would actually be equal to that as well. One way you could do this also, in order to check to make sure your answers are right, is actually solve the equations all the way. If you solve the equation, you will get 3 3/4 or 3.75, and then that'll tell you, if you get that, then those should be equal to each other. If you don't get that, then that should not be equal to that. We look at number 4. Clara has 9 pounds of apples. She needs 1 1/4 pounds to make 1 apple pie. If she sets aside 1.5 pounds of apples to make applesauce, how many pies P can she make, right, and solve an equation? Okay, so we have for the apple pies, and we have the applesauce is one way we can look at this. So one way for the apple pies, it's 1 1/4 pounds per pie times however many pies. Our applesauce was 1.5 pounds, and then that's a total of 9 pounds. That could be an equation. If we were solving this, then they're adding, so we could subtract 1.5, which would be 7.5, or 7 5/10. And then they're multiplying, so we need to divide. Now, in this case, 1 1/4 is the same as 1.25. So if you wanted to say I'm going to divide by 1.25, that would be fine. And then when you do that, you should get 6. So that means she could make 6 pies. And again, there's other ways we could write the equation, but this would be one of the options. Number 5, they're asking us to solve this equation, and as always, we have to show our work. We have a number next to our parentheses, so our first step is going to be to distribute. So we'll do -4 times 1.75 and then plus -4 times x equals 18. When we multiply, we'll get -7 plus -4x equals 18. And basically at this point, we're trying to get that -4x by itself. We're trying to isolate that variable. Means we're trying to get rid of that -7. So a couple ways we can think about opposite operation, or we can think about what do I have to do to get rid of a -7. Okay, so one option we could say they're adding, we're going to subtract. If we think about it that way, let's say this, they're adding a -7, we're going to subtract a -7. When you subtract a -7, add the opposite is the same as adding 7. Or you can say, how do I get rid of a -7? -7 and a +7 are going to cancel each other out. If we do that, then we've got 18 plus 7, which would be 25. Okay, and then they're multiplying, so we need to divide by -4.
So -4x divided by 25, is that it?
Yeah, so that would be, you can divide it out, you get -6 and 25/100ths, or -6 and 1/4. Since we don't know what's happening in this problem, if you just left it as -25/4, that would be okay also.
Okay.
We're looking at number 6. 4 friends attend a school play. Pay $6 per ticket. Each also buys a healthy snack bag sold by the theater club. They spent a total of $34. How much did each healthy snack bag cost? B, write and solve an equation. So first of all, we could say the price of their tickets. 4 people, 6 tickets, so that'd be 4 times 6. And then 4 people, they're each buying a healthy snack bag, so 4 times B. And then that's $34 altogether. That'd be one way of writing the equation. Then 4 times 6 is 24. They're adding, so we can subtract 24. They're multiplying, so we can divide by 4. We divide that, we'll get 2.5, which means that each bag costs $2.50. Again, there's other different ways that we could write an equation. One option we could have in parentheses 6 plus b, 4 times the quantity 6 plus b equals 34. Or another way, you could have 34 minus 4 times 6. Take that answer divided by 4 would be the cost of one bag. So those would be some other different ways that we could write our equation. Look at page 272. Marvin and 3 friends are renting a car for a trip. Rental prices are shown. Marvin has a coupon that discounts the rental of a full-size car by $25. They decide to buy insurance for each day. Cost is $465. How many days will they rent the car? Write and solve an equation. Okay, first of all, not to overlook this fact, it's Marvin and 3 friends. That's 4 people. And then if we look at this, if they're renting a full-size car is $49 a day, and then also insurance is $21 a day. So his coupon discounts it by $25, and their cost is $465. So how many days are they going to be able to rent the car? One of the things that's not real clear here is about the coupon, whether that's $25 a day that were being discounted or just one-time deal. In this case, they're wanting that to be a one-time deal that we're being discounted, the $25. So if we think about that, we've got $49 a day for the car, $21 a day for insurance, which we could add that, but we need to write an equation. So we'd add that together, would be the cost for one day times however many days we're renting the car, minus our $25 coupon would be $465. So this would be an equation we could use. With this problem, you could distribute here, since these are just numbers inside here. If we can combine the things inside the parentheses, we want to try to do that. So if you do just add those together, would be 70, and then that gets us to a two-step equation. In this case, they're subtracting 25. We can add 25. And then they're multiplying by 70, so we can divide by 70. When you do that, you'll get 7. So that means that they rented the car for 7 days. So they rented for 7 days is the first part. The second part, if they still use the coupon, how many days could they rent the small car with insurance if they have $465 to spend? So similar setup, only now we're going with the small car. So the small car is $39 a day. So $39 a day plus $21 insurance times however many days minus our $25 coupon, which is $465. Once again, same steps basically. We're just going to add these, only this time those would add up to be 60. They're subtracting 25, so we can add 25. They're multiplying by 60, we can divide by 60. And if you do that, you'll get like 8.16 repeating. What that means, they're not going to let us, borrow this for just a few hours one day, so we'll have to round this down and say they could only rent it for 8 days. And then finally, if we look at part C, they rent a car with insurance for 5 days but lost their coupon. Marvin and 3 friends spend $75 each. Which car did they rent? Write and solve an equation. Okay, different ways to do this. One thing, if we go off to the side, we can make a statement here. Marvin and the 3 friends, again, 4 people here, they spent $75 each. I'm going to go ahead and just take 75 times 4. As long as I write that here, this is okay. So that would be $300 that they spent, and they're renting it for 5 days. The question is, which car did they rent now? So 5 days, so they are going to have presumably, oh yes, here it says with insurance. So they have their cost of the car plus their insurance is $21. Okay, let X represent the daily cost for whichever vehicle they're renting, and then that's equal to $300. So if we do this time we would need to distribute. We do 5 times X plus 5 times 21. 5 times 21 is 105. And then we've got a 2-step equation. They're adding, so we can subtract. They're multiplying, so we can divide. And when we divide that, we'll get 39. So that means $39 is their rate. $39, that's the rate for the small car. So they must have rented the small car in this case. So this gives you an idea of how to do some of the things in lessons 5.1 through 5.3.